Hello and welcome to the Recommended Podcast. My name is Ryker, and this is my co-host, Brenden.
Feet everywhere. Ah!
Glad to see you're back, buddy. And this is the Recommended Podcast where we talk about movies, TV, and entertainment media. And this week we are talking about the movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This one was a Brenden pick. What do you think, Brenden? You hadn't seen it until now?
Loved it.
Recommend it?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I recommend it as well. So if you haven't watched it already, it's worth going to check out. You can stick around here if you want us to sell you on it a little bit more, but we're going to give you a spoiler warning in about probably 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And you can decide from that point if you want to go on or not. So
We got this down to a science, folks.
yeah, we're pumping on all cylinders. So much so that Brenden knows what the next part of the podcast is, and he's going to go now.
What have I been watching lately? Okay,
You're just so screamy today.
What have I been watching lately? Season 3 on Peacock. Season 3 of The Traitors. It is what I feel is the best reality game show right now. It is great. It is basically you remember that card game we were playing, like the werewolves game at night?
Yeah.
Yeah. One Night Ultimate Werewolf or something, I
Yeah,
think.
I think that's it.
Yeah, it's like that, but in real life, like there's a couple people that are like the traitors, but you don't know who they are, and the rest of the people have to figure it out. And it's great.
Hey, can I get this on the level with the kids? It's like Among Us.
It is like Among Us.
Huh? Among Us?
Yeah, Among Us. Yeah, so that's great. And then I don't normally do this, but I'm going to throw it out.
Throw it out there.
The season finale of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, watched it with my wife. Incredible. The housewives are arguing in a van with each other.
Okay.
And one of the women takes her phone out and begins trying to record the conversation, and they catch her doing it, and it is incredible. That's all I have to say. That's it. That's what I've been watching lately. What about you?
So we went to Disney to do the marathon,
Yeah, we did.
the half marathon, the 10K, and the 5K. And while we were down there, we watched some reality trash TV.
Yes, we did.
Was it the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and
Yeah.
the Real Housewives of Atlanta?
Yeah.
And then also Storage Wars for a minute. Watch your profanity.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, we watched that while we were there. Since we came back, I watched the movies that we had selected for the podcast, and I also watched A Real Pain with Jesse Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how sad is it?
I didn't think it was sad. I
good. No,
I
it's
really
good.
enjoy this movie, and for the subject matter that it's covering, I didn't know what when I was going into it. I just thought it was a movie about these two traveling together. I like those kind of movies. There's a movie called The Trip that I think is really great. It's a British movie. And there's Sideways. It's just a couple of people traveling together and just watching their relationship during this. If these people weren't so close, they would never talk to each other ever again after these trips. But it's that bonding moment of oh yeah, this is just how they are, and they've always been, and that's why I like them, and that's why I stay near them all the time. But yeah, that's what I watched. I liked it. I thought it was good. I didn't know what the subject matter was going to be, as I said, but it did a good job of keeping it light, even though it was very, very heavy.
It's Holocausty, right?
I wouldn't put an E at the end of it,
But you know what I mean? It's about the Holocaust, right? The relative, I think.
Yeah, so the story is they're going back to Poland to do a Holocaust tour that their grandma had wanted them to take because they were very close with their grandmother before she passed away. So that's what they're doing. They're going back to kind of show respect, and then they go to their grandmother's house. And there are other things that are revealed along the way about these two's relationship because they haven't really talked in a long time. So
Yeah.
and it's heavy in its own right too from that perspective. But yeah, it was good. I liked it a lot. Just like I said, it did a great job of keeping it light despite the heavy nature of the whole thing. So that's all I got. That's what I watched. It was a real good time, not a good pain.
Let's keep it light. Let's keep it tight. That's what one of my phrases.
So I don't know when to do this, but I have a game that I want to do with you, and I want to do it kind of front loaded. I think because
front load it.
Because if I do it this way,
Yeah.
that like if we if we eat up a bunch of time, we could always like go faster at the end. So my game that I had an idea, I wanted to try to mix things up a little bit, starting this new year, new us.
Yeah.
Trying to come up with segments that might not always be on the podcast. We might do this every so often. It depends on if people like it or not.
Okay.
So this one is called. You ever play the game 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon?
Yeah. I know what that is.
You know what it is, where you have to get to Kevin Bacon, or that you can get to Kevin Bacon from any movie within six moves. Right?
Yeah. Right.
So I want to do that with the movies that we're watching.
Okay.
So like get to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood from this movie that I don't know what it is.
Okay.
My wife just handed this to me as we were like coming down to record.
Oh.
I asked her to make something up so that way we could do it together.
Oh, it's a collaborative exercise. This is great.
Because I know that you could never do this by yourself.
Correct. I couldn't, so I'm glad that you're here for support. This is fantastic.
I think maybe we bop back and forth maybe.
Yeah.
Like, I
might just bop back to you, but we'll see.
Okay.
I think I can hopefully do something
So
here.
we're going to go from, we want to get to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Does she have the answer?
Does she know how to do it?
Or no, like, does she, like, the whatever movie's on there, does she know the answer? Or there could be multiple answers.
She probably has no idea.
Okay, that's okay.
She probably just gave me a movie and knew that we could do it.
All right, well,
one of us could do it. Anyway, so we're going to go from Ocean's 11, but she said not to take the easy route, which would be just the straight Brad Pitt to Brad Pitt and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay.
So I guess we just axe Brad Pitt. And I'm going to say we can't use George Clooney either.
Okay.
Because George Clooney and Brad Pitt have been like multiple movies together. So I think we have to pick another actor or actress from this film.
All right, can I...
to get to... No, you can't cheat.
I'm not cheating. I want to see the cast of Ocean's 11. I haven't seen Ocean 11 since I was like 15.
Don Cheadle.
I was thinking him.
Matt Damon.
Julia
Roberts.
Okay.
Trying to think. Affleck. Casey Affleck is in it. And I can't remember the other two.
Okay, wait. Hold on. I got it. Right?
Yeah, okay.
Casey Affleck's in it?
Yeah.
Casey Affleck's in Interstellar. Interstellar has... I lost it already, but McConaughey is in it, and McConaughey is in Wolf of Wall Street, which is Leo's in. And
Okay.
Leo, bang.
Hey, you did it.
Suck it. Let's go.
Hey, I'll tell you guys what. If you guys in the comments or wherever you want, give us a better version of that. Like if you can get there faster without, like I said,
Of course you can.
we're gonna cut. You can't use Brad Pitt or Clooney. I don't know why I picked Clooney because I could like Matt Damon was also in Interstellar.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna.
He was too.
I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna workshop this one a little bit, but I do like the idea of like coming up with something. I'm gonna tell her to make it harder next time. Not pick a movie that literally has the actor in it.
Yeah.
So maybe she thought we were doing it for the next one, and that's why she gave me that one instead.
Maybe.
But she did say don't use the obvious one. Anyway, I like the idea of doing that. I think it'll be fun. We can. I'll try. Maybe since you did that one so well, maybe I'll pick the movie next time and make it harder for you.
Oh man.
So, all right. What did you eat while you're watching this one? Did you eat anything while you're snacking?
I ate some. This is not a pitch. We know that I'm not in love with it anymore, considering their response to us. But I had some Gardetto snack mix, and it's delicious. I can't stop saying it. It's delicious. It's delicious.
Anything other than Gardettos?
No, I do eat other things, but
okay.
I enjoyed it. Got a big bag. The big bag from Sam's Club. Isn't Sam's Club great? It's just great.
Okay.
It's just like the things you want, but more of them. It's great.
Okay. I feel like this is like a pointed statement the way you're saying it. Is it because of, there are other places that sell in bulk that you just don't want to be associated with?
I didn't even think of that, but yeah.
Are you
Costco?
Are you kidding me right now? You didn't think of that while you're
No,
talking
I
about
didn't.
Sam's Club? So, okay, Gardettos is what you had. Do you have a recommendation on what you would suggest people eat with it?
I do. So I'm going to go with because I think this movie is fantastic. I think a fantastic snack. We've kind of danced a little bit. I don't know if we've quite talked about the specific flavor, but I'm going to go with the purple bag, which is the wild berry Skittle. I think the wild berry Skittle is incredibly underrated and not as appreciated as it should be. And I think this movie's really good. So this is kind of the parallel I'm drawing between them.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I had some. Actually, it was what I'm going to be recommending. Beef jerky.
Beef jerk.
Some teriyaki flavored beef jerky.
Well, beef jerk.
And I enjoyed it, and it's I feel like it's very to the point about this movie. It's cowboy. It's a cowboy movie kind of. It's got a lot of historical like scenes about the shows about the Old West, like so like that, a lot of that. So I kind of felt like that was the way that's the way I wanted to go with it.
Real quick, I shouldn't do this, but I'm going to. So like how my brain works is weird. And so you said beef jerky. I went, oh, how about beef jerk? And then I went to B jerk. And then I went, why do we call Michael B. Jordan Michael B. Jordan? Why don't we call him Michael B. Jerk? Because that's his name. I know.
Because that's his name.
You want me to call him that now?
You went through more steps in that than you did to get to the answer for the 6 degrees.
I can't help it. I'm
Michael
sorry.
B. Jerkin. Yeah. Okay. I mean, that was better than your Dr. Pecker. So, or not. I feel like it wasn't as good. So those are the snack recommendations. Do you want to get into some facts, and then we can start really talking about this movie?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's get into some Hollywood facts. Need to really project Hollywood. Movie is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I crack up because I copy over like previous episodes notes because I have the same like style of note,
Yeah.
And so I left it still says Inside Man, which makes me laugh. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
You could set up a template, right?
I know. I'm working on it. You'd think one time. We're 20 some into this. Anyway, length 2 hours 40 minutes. Release date July 26, 2019. Written and directed by Quentin Tarantino. Cast. This cast is so long. I had to cut it somewhere. You're gonna yell at me because I'm gonna end up reading probably too many anyway. But here we go. Leonardo DiCaprio as Rick Dalton. Brad Pitt as Cliff Booth. Margot Robbie as Sharon Tate. Emily Hirsch as Jay Sebring, Margaret Qualley as Pussycat, Timothy Olyphant as James State. Shut up. Julia Butters as Trudy Fraser, Austin Butler as Tex, Dakota Fanning as Squeaky, Bruce Dern as George Spahn, Mike Moe as Bruce Lee. Loved Bruce Lee. We got to talk about that. Luke Perry as Wayne Maunder, Damian Lewis as Steve McQueen, Al Pacino as Marvin Schwartz, Nicholas Hammond as Sam Wanamaker, Samantha Robinson as Abigail Folger, not Fogler, God. Raphael Zakwerka as Roman Polanski, Lorena Izzo as Francesca Capucci, Maya Hawke as Flower Child, Sydney Sweeney as Snake, Lena Dunham as Gypsy, Rumor Willis as Joanna Pettit, and Kirk Russell as Randy Miller and the narrator.
I was just going to say, I think we're at the point where you should be cutting.
No, I know. It was hard. I felt there's so many people.
Dude, when the first instance of the narrator happens, you expect that it's going to happen more, but it happens once, and then it happens again at the end of the movie. That's it.
My first note, I'll read it to you right now. I'll read it. We're far enough in. I feel like I got to get a little edgier. You know what I mean? My first note says, the narrator's "that's a fucking lie." I jumped. I wasn't expecting that at all. Like when he's like, "That's a fucking lie," I was like, "Whoa, what? There's somebody else here?"
Startled you?
It did. I don't know why. It just did. It freaked me out. And then you're right. I was like, oh, surely this
will happen more.
Scumbag will come back in. Not really.
Scumbag. He's a scumbag because he made me jump, made me pee my pants.
I guess I could finish here. Budget $90 million. Box office $392 million. Synopsis: actor Rick Dalton gained fame and fortune by starring in a 1950s television western, but is now struggling to find meaningful work in a Hollywood that he doesn't recognize anymore. He spends most of his time drinking and palling around with Cliff Booth, his easygoing best friend and longtime stunt double. Rick also happens to live next door to Roman Polanski and Sharon Tate, the filmmaker and budding actress whose futures will forever be altered by members of the Manson family. Got goosies reading that.
Good stuff. I like that. Okay, so I want to take like 2 minutes quickly.
Take it. 120 secs. Do it.
Okay. So this is unrelated to the movie and like the content, but trying to find this movie to watch sucked.
Yeah, you can say it.
It sucked shit. That's what it did. It was the worst because trying to find a copy of this, I went to try to get a physical copy from there's a place called The Exchange that is close to us that is kind of like a back in the old days you would go trade stuff in. It's like almost like a pawn shop, but it's only exclusively
for like entertainment stuff.
And it's mostly like it's like a GameStop but for for movies and TV too.
Yeah.
Right? So they do games and all that. But yeah, I went there and I was like, hey, wanted to see if you had a copy of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Don't care if it's on 4K. Don't care if it's on Blu-ray. I just want to get a copy of it.
They didn't have it?
No, we don't have
Wow.
it. Next closest place is an hour and a half away from here that has it. I was like, well,
Holy
that's
crap.
not happening. And I couldn't get one delivered from Amazon in that amount of, like in the 2 days that I had before we were going to talk about this. So I was like, I guess I'm stuck renting it because I can't get a physical copy from Target, from Walmart. I can't get it from anywhere. And the only place that's streaming it is a place called Fubo or
Yeah, Fubo TV.
which Fubo TV is full of shit as well because they said they were doing like a free trial for their service for like 7 days or something around New Year's so that way people could watch because that's where the New Year's like Dick Clark thing was playing.
Oh, yeah.
That and I forget which the other service. It might have been like DirecTV had a free trial as well. Fubo's free trial made you input a credit card and it was going to charge you initially and then give you 7 days on top of your initial month.
Oh, scummy practice.
It was the
scummy.
It was just like why? And like again, it's the like the whole it shuffled so much. I've watched this movie like 3 times and the times that I've watched it have all been streaming and 2 of those times were on HBO and another platform, maybe Hulu, but like they just bounce around so freaking much that I can't like pinpoint a spot to find it, and it's so annoying. I'm pretty sure when we did Inside Man, less than a week later, we talked about it already. The movie was gone off of it, and like it's just like I hate telling you guys to go to watch a movie when it comes down to like, hey, go check this one out. It's hard to find. Like, that sucks. Like, that's why I didn't do 28 Days Later, because it's impossible to find a stream of it. And the DVDs and Blu-rays cost, like, a ton. So it sucks, because there's, good movies out there, but, it's hard to find them. And it's just the way of the world now. It sucks.
It made me... I laughed because I was like, is Inside Man still on that shitty service that had moved
What
to?
is it, like IQI or
Yeah, it's
something like that?
IQIYI. I don't even know how we say that.
Iqui-yoy-yoy.
Yeah, Iqui-yoy-yoy. But yeah, no, it's still on there. But you're right. I believe Once Upon a Time, it is on Fubo. That is also on Sling TV as a premium subscription. It is also apparently on Hulu and YouTube TV if you have premium subscriptions. I don't have any of those. I rented it from Amazon for $3.59.
It's the TV. Like, it's like those versions, like with TV programming. I'm almost positive because Fubo's TV, Hulu's TV, YouTube's has TV. So it's just that. And that's, again, that's all I wanted to say. I just was annoyed by the fact that I couldn't watch this movie easily. I wanted to.
You should be able to
I
watch
wanted
it easier.
to buy one. And it was going to take me 2 days to get it from Amazon, which, not that bad, right? But that's the only place that we can get stuff now. I was actually thinking about it. I was like, is there any other place close to me that has that same movie or like trade-in, like of games, like a vintage shop? Is there anything near me? There's not. The closest place is the Exchange, and it sucks because they're becoming so corporate that they don't have the stuff that you would want.
Yeah, and if I may, close. Let's start close in quotes. It's 30-some minutes.
Yeah, that's...
Well, I guess you're a little closer than me, but yeah, it's 20-some minutes there.
Relatively close. Let's
Yeah.
just say that. But still, yeah, to try to go up there, especially this time of year when the weather sucks. So anyway, I'm done complaining about that. I did get a copy of it. I rented it through Amazon, which, by the way, there were 2 copies on Amazon. Did you notice that?
One had bonus content?
One had bonus content, and it was like a half hour longer. I almost got that one, but you couldn't rent it. You had to purchase it.
Yeah, it was $14.99.
I was like, and I was like, I don't want a digital copy of this. I want a physical copy if I get one, because who knows how long like the servers will stay up. I hate getting digital copies of like physical or stuff that I could get physically, just because of the fact that I have that, and they can't.
I agree
take
with
that
you,
away
but
from
at the
me.
same time, like if Amazon goes belly up, we're all screwed. Let's be real.
Well, they could also just say, well, we're changing the way our stuff is like stored now, so you're gonna have to pay a fee to do that, or we're gonna remove it.
Bezos,
They can do whatever they want.
watch yourself. Don't think about it. Don't think about it.
All right. So if you haven't watched it already, go check it out. It's worth a watch. It is a fun movie. I don't know if we'll get too far. I don't know if Brenden has a bunch of like behind the scenes stuff.
Four things.
But I really want to get into discussing the movie, so we're gonna
Yeah,
jump.
me too.
We're gonna jump probably pretty much into like directly into content and quiz stuff. So if you haven't watched it already, go check it out. We both recommend it. It's a good movie and it's worth your time. So pause us and come on back, or hang out, and we'll tell you exactly why you should watch it. And I don't think that we can spoil too much of this, because it's good. So like, regardless of whether or not you know it's coming, it's fine to watch. Like I feel like I wouldn't care if anybody told me anything about this movie. So
Yeah.
all right, go ahead. Spoilers starting now.
I got 4 things. Let's run through them real quick.
Do it. Got it.
I got 4 things. 4.
Are they reinforced with a with a binder ring?
Yeah.
We're
Reinforcement.
we were being old men earlier.
Reinforcements. Fact number 1. Eager to work with Quentin Tarantino again and to keep within the budget, Leo took a 25% pay cut from his usual $20 million salary.
Oh man, what a generous.
I know. But it is kind of funny to think that Arnold was making 20 or 25 million on the Batman movie back in the 90s.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised the number isn't 25.
Oh yeah, me too. China refused the film. Okay, this is so good. China refused the film a certificate for release in the country and strongly hinted that the issue was with the way the film portrayed Bruce Lee, and that an edit which eliminated the Lee-related material would get approval for release. Quentin responded publicly saying he would not edit any of the movie to ensure its release in China. So I'm under the impression it never released in China because he didn't want to play ball with that. And that's great. That's awesome.
It's one of the best scenes in the whole movie.
It's hilarious.
So, yeah.
Why would we omit that?
Oh, because it's talking bad about probably a national hero.
China, listen, I know you're listening. Grow up. No,
they're not listening anymore. TikTok just got closed.
Nope, it's back up now.
Oh, wow. Okay. Never mind.
It literally this afternoon.
Well, we had about
a day.
Half a day with no Chinese agents listening to us.
Yeah, but they're back.
They're back in full force.
So this is a sad one. This is about some deaths. Burt Reynolds was originally cast as George Spahn, the ranch owner, but he died before he was scheduled to shoot his scenes. Bruce Dern replaced him in the role. Additionally, the role of James Stacy was originally written for Bill Paxton, who unfortunately passed away while the script was being written. Paxton's role would instead go, God, I'm so mad at myself, Timothy Olyphant. How do we say it? Really true. Wait, tell me.
Timothy Olyphant.
Timothy Olyphant.
Yep.
Yeah, he got it instead. Yeah.
I love Timothy Olyphant.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
He's been on a bunch of like clips on Conan. Like he's been on Conan a bunch, and just his attitude and the way he is just very chill. He's just like, I feel like he's one of those. He's almost like a surfer dude. Like that's the vibe I get from him. He gets cast in all these cowboy roles, and his like mantra is just like, he talked about his the most upsetting thing about Justified shutting down the show that he was on forever was the fact that he wasn't going to get free haircuts anymore.
Oh.
And he also was constantly wearing like stolen clothes from the set. Like he would just wear the set garb off of the set and just.
I understand it though. I mean, haircut run you 15 close to $20 these days. All right, I got one more. It's a little bit of a mouthful, but I wanted to read it. So the character Flower Child, which is portrayed by Maya Hawke, who is shown having cold feet on going through with the murders and who flees the scene in the 1959 Ford Galaxy, is based on Linda Kasabian, who became a witness for the prosecution in the murder trial of Tex Watson, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Susan Atkins. In real life, Kasabian was ordered by Tex Watson to wait in the car, during which she heard the murders inside the Tate residence take place and witnessed the murder of Frykowski outside the house. Kasabian claimed she wanted to drive away, but was too scared. I did like that little detail because you knew, right? Like, the four of them begin walking up the drive, and she is like, "Oh, I forgot my knife." And the Austin Butler is so good. He's like, "Oh, we'll just go get it."
Yeah, here's the keys.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, wait, you're gonna need my keys," and like doesn't even think about it. That like, come on, anybody with a brain, that girl was leaving. She was not gonna do that.
No, it's funny. I didn't realize that was. And like any of these actors or actresses before, like they kind of hit it big. Like Sydney Sweeney Didn't even notice Sydney Sweeney. I watched this movie twice before, and then I watched it this time. I was like, oh my god, that's Sydney Sweeney. That's her. That's where she's at. And she even has like speaking lines in this movie. I didn't even notice. And then what was Ethan Hawke and what's her name? Oh gosh, I can't remember. Uma Thurman's daughter,
Maya Hawke.
Maya Hawke. I didn't recognize her from this movie when I saw her in Stranger Things either. So I was like, oh, interesting. Like I didn't notice a bunch of people. Margaret Qualley, she's probably the one that I think jumped into spotlight a little bit faster than everybody else. Like in my eyes, like I noticed her in other movies before I noticed anybody else in this other. And Austin Butler, everybody's talking about how Austin Butler was like the it guy. He's in a lot of stuff, and like he's like, all I know is that he's got like an accent now that he's like developed after doing the Elvis movie, and he's like trying to make it look like that's the way his voice has always been, but it's not. It's just pretending. He doesn't have an accent.
Actually, like I'm thumbing my nose at the what? But I didn't really think he was that good in his role in this movie. I didn't really buy it. But maybe I'm not supposed to. I don't know. Maybe that's the point. I kind of am thinking that's it. Like, oh, he's this vicious killer. No, you're not.
Oh no, yeah, I didn't think that. I don't think you're supposed to think that. I think you're supposed to think this is kind of like somebody that thinks they are.
Yeah.
Like that when they're in the car, he's talking about how Charlie said said that we got to do this, and if you're saying that Charlie didn't say it, they call me a liar. It's like I almost feel like Charlie didn't say it, like the way you're saying it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he kind of just comes off as all of those people. I feel like are doofuses or not a threat at all. So much so that like when you're watching Brad Pitt's character walk through Spawn Ranch, it's seemingly he is not afraid of any of the people. At all.
I was afraid for him. That was like I was watching it like I kept thinking like something was going to happen.
Yeah.
And it was real. I really liked that part of the movie.
When he, it's just like there's so many good things about that part of the movie. Like when he sees the, what's his name? Was it Glenn?
Spawn, the Spawn guy.
No, I'm talking about the goofy guy that pops his tire. Forget.
Oh, I know who you're talking about, but I don't remember his name.
I forget his name.
He's got a funky name.
It's just it's a single like it's like Clem or something like that.
I think you're right. It might even be Clem.
And he just kind of laughs at him, and he tells him to fix the car, and walks over and just like decks him and starts beating the ever living crap out of him in front of everybody. And there's nothing anybody could do. Like they all kind of felt like they were, like
intimidating him.
Yeah, that he was like he's scared and leaving because they've scared him, but he's not. He's just leaving because it's time to leave.
Yeah,
that's really it. And I loved when he was talking to Squeaky too. He's like, "I'm gonna come in there and see him," and he flicks the screen door. He's like, "Isn't gonna stop me." So I just kind of like open the door because I'm coming in. And there's nothing you can do. It's actually there's the moment in the movie too where they talk about like, did he kill his wife? Didn't he kill his wife? Like they talk about like that briefly, and you're kind of like, what? And then they show the clip of him on the boat with his wife, and his wife is just
nagging him so bad,
trying to start a fight, and he's sitting there drinking a beer
with like a harpoon gun or something
in his hand with, I'm pretty sure, his finger on the trigger. So I'm thinking that, and I told my wife, I was like, do you think that he did it? And she's like, I don't. I mean, I feel like probably yeah. I was like, he's just so like even keeled the whole movie, like until he's not. Like, but even in those moments of like extreme, because he's capable of extreme violence. They show it multiple times, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And even when he's not, even like moments after, he's laughing or he's kind of like joking about it. Like he's like whatever happened to him in the war, because they like mentioned like Leo's character says he's like he was a war hero or something like that. I imagine that it must have been something nasty because he seemingly doesn't like nothing seems to faze him and he doesn't care. But he talks like multiple times about like being violent and like it just could be surprised that he hadn't been like arrested at this point. But that's another story. But yeah, I liked I don't know, just everything about this movie was like clean. I liked that it was crisp. There was only a couple things that were kind of like jarring to me, and we can talk about them as we go farther in. But is there anything, I guess, else that you had from there?
Nope. I had 4 facts, and I got 6 quiz questions. 2 easy, 2 medium, 2 hard.
Oh, we've abbreviated a little bit. Gone back to the
Yeah.
old days.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can dip into the quiz if you want to do the quiz, and then we can talk more about the movie, depending on where you end up.
Let's dip in.
So I dipped in.
I dipped in with a little pop quiz hot shot. Dip in. Little dip in a dish. 2 easy questions at first.
All right, hit me with them.
Easy question number 1.
I would like you to ask me both of them simultaneously.
How many movies does Rick Dalton make in Italy?
Oh, okay.
It's an innocent question. How many does he make?
Um.
I don't need the names. I just want to know the number.
Okay.
And I just want to say, what a turnaround. I mean, Rick was very against going to Italy. I think it worked out quite well for him.
Dude, it was so funny. Like them going in and just like the way he was. I loved the point at the beginning of the movie where he is talking with Pacino. They get done with that conversation, and then they leave, and it's him and Brad Pitt's character, and they're like in the parking lot, and he's like I'm gonna get I'm gonna get the car. He gets the valet ticket. He walks back over him. He was like crying. He's like what's going on? And he's like, he tell you something bad or something you didn't like? He's like, no, he told me the truth. I'm washed up. I'm a has-been, old buddy. And he's like crying. He's like, here, put these sunglasses on. Don't cry in front of the Mexicans. And
That's my favorite
I was like,
line of the movie.
what are you? What? I know it's the time, but like this, just the way he said, like the way it's delivered,
It's great.
It's so, I don't know. It's like it's just like I almost feel like he's just like just don't cry. Like no matter what, don't cry in front of me.
You don't know Cliff yet, but
Yeah.
that line is Cliff. Like it's like don't cry in front of the Mexicans. It's so good. Oh my
It's
god.
simply too good.
It is.
All right, so to answer your question, because I've killed some time, it's 4, I believe.
It is 4.
I believe it's Nebraska Jim, and then while he was over there, he got hired to do 3 other movies, and I don't remember what.
The names of them are pretty long.
I have them written down. I can pull them up. But the one that I really liked was, I remember this one, Operation Dynamite.
Yeah.
The other one, let's see here. Let me slide a little bit.
One's like da 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 with da da da.
Kill me quick to go said the gringo, or kill me quick to go said the gringo, or something like that.
Yeah.
Red blood, red skin.
Yes.
And then Operation Dynamite.
Yes.
On top of Nebraska Jim is the one he was hired for. But yeah, that was that whole series of events was great, and that was actually kind of one of the things that was jarring. So they go through, they're doing their Al Pacino and him are talking, right, and they've done a lot of shots like showing like some like of his other films, and like when he's like filming on set and stuff like that, and they're doing the interview with him, and it's all kind of shot on like old grainy film, or the audio just kind of sounds a little bit wonky. Then we get the shots of the 13 Fist of McCleskey, right? And it's all like it was shot on modern cameras, and it was all clean and crisp sound. It's just kind of off-putting and jarring, that like piece of it being like that. But everything else is just like kind of like time period based kind of. So it's weird to have that like that one section of the movie when they're showing clips from the movie being like the rest of the film. Same thing kind of happens too when they're filming the Lancer pilot, because we're in with them as they're filming the Lancer pilot, and we're seeing the shots of the show, but like the angles we're getting aren't the angles the cameras for the show are shooting, but they're filming it in a way that it looks like that would be the show. It's kind of weird. So like I guess if it was filmed now, these would be the shots for the show, but what they're filming isn't those. Like there's not another camera. There's one camera, and it's like 30 feet away from them. Meanwhile, we're gonna over the shoulder shot from Timothy Oliphant that is like no one's like there's no cameraman there, so it's kind of just weird.
Right.
And that's my only kind of gripes with this. I feel like and it's not even gripes. I just feel like it would have made things a little bit more crisp if they were done a little differently.
Second easy question.
Hit
Don't
me.
overthink this.
I won't, and I will.
What is the name of the cab company that drops off Cliff and Rick at home the night of the murders? So they go out, they go to the Mexican restaurant, they get very, very drunk, and a cab brings them home. It isn't in the shot for long, so that's where I'm like, I hesitate to whether to make this an easy, but I think it's recognizable enough.
Yellow cab.
It is Yellow Cab Company.
Oh, wow.
I'll just go with that. That's fine. I'll give it to you. But yeah, it's the Yellow Cab Co. I was just kind of like,
hold on a
how
minute.
original.
Hold on a minute. What do you mean you're gonna give it to me? That was
mean,
the
it's-
answer. You asked
yeah.
for.
You just said Yellow Cab, but I was like, the Yellow Cab Co. I mean,
You-
it's the same thing.
You said
dude.
it was the cab company. The cab company is Yellow Cab.
Okay, all right, fine. Fair
Yellow
enough,
Cab
yeah.
Company.
Yellow Cab Company. The Yellow Cab Company.
So sorry I didn't wait on that one for everybody.
No, it's fine.
I bought so much time on the last one, but yes, that is a very hard question. I guessed. I honestly just assumed that it was just yellow
The thing.
because that's
Yeah.
I think probably one of the primary ones. Still even you don't get many cabs around where we're at. But yeah, that's oh man, everything like and just that part of the movie. That's again where it gets jarring because you have the voiceover again, right? And it's just like walking you through all of the things, the events of the night. And I think it's just a way
Yeah.
to abbreviate it so you don't, because the rest of the movie is like 2 days, right?
Yeah, I took it. I felt uneasy the rest. I mean, I'm sure you did the first time you saw it too. I kept thinking that the narrator from that point forward in the movie was going to basically narrate the Tate murders. Right. So I was like, because you see like, oh, at 4:30 they're doing this and this. Like, I'm like, oh, we're leading up to when this is going to happen.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I started getting a little concerned at that point.
You start moving quick in the movie. Like they took you like at the beginning of the movie, it was like hour and a half like of or maybe even longer of 1 day, 2 day, and like that's it. And then they travel to Rome. And that's it. And then when you're in Rome, we start to. I think it's like 20 minutes left in the movie for everything kind of comes to a climax.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the people that are gonna come there for the murders, I think it's about 25-ish minutes are left when they're pulling up the road, and
Yeah.
and I'm kind of like, how does this get wrapped up? Yeah, I was worried. I always do that.
Very quickly.
Yeah. So we're 2 for 2.
Yeah.
Going to the mediums.
All right.
All right. So I want to talk a little bit about it. We can do it now, or we can wait till after the quiz is over. But so Rick Dalton has, I think, a pretty great conversation with Trudy Frazier, the little girl, and he calls her a nickname, and I just think he doesn't call her Trudy. He doesn't call her actress name. He calls her something else, which I think she does not like.
Yeah.
What
she
is the
does,
nickname?
She does not like it. She even says she's like, I don't like nicknames, but since you're upset, I'll let it slide this time.
Yeah.
He even like kind of laughs about it because he thinks it's fun. I believe it's Pumpkin Puss,
That's correct. He calls her Pumpkin Puss.
which is
She's great in that
it's so
scene.
weird.
It's
Yeah.
weird. Yeah, it's what a weird. Yeah, because she's like 8.
It is.
What?
I mean,
Not that it would be okay to call somebody older than that, but just what?
I think it's kind of like Sourpuss, but like like her face is like round like a pumpkin. Maybe I don't know. That's what he was going for. I'm guessing, but that scene is awesome, and it's hard to find good child actors, like a child actor that doesn't make you go like, oh man, this movie sucks now because you're in it. Like you did such a poor job of delivering these lines. I feel like it happens a lot.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh man, all right, we've got kids, and the movie is gonna suffer probably because of it, but we'll get through it. But no, she does a great job. She actually is part of like those couple scenes is like probably my favorite parts of the movie. Just her having a conversation with him and them talking about the book that he's reading is great. It's just setting them up to like kind of like he's reading a book that is about him.
Yeah, it's a symbolism of his career.
And he is just like realizing it in that moment. I feel like he didn't realize it until he said it out loud.
Yeah, what's really cool is that actress Julia Butters is or was on American Housewife, which is that sitcom with like Katie Mixon and that guy from Balls of Fury. I said, what's that guy's name? The guy that says, "Save the panda. The panda's dead."
Oh,
that guy. I forget his name.
I forget his name as well.
It's a funky name. But anyway, they had the sitcom on. It was for about 5 seasons. And so that family has 3 children, and Julia Butters plays the youngest daughter. And they never really say it anytime in any of the episodes to my knowledge, because we watch pretty much every one of them. But she plays like a kid that has special needs or is definitely different, and she does a great job of it. And so seeing her now in this, I'm like, wow, she's like really good, and she is not old. And so that was pretty cool.
Diedrich Bader.
Diedrich Bader. Yeah, Diedrich Bader's the dad. Katie Mixon's the mom. She's one of the kids. So.
I've never seen that show. I've seen like bits of it, like clips, but never a whole episode.
Yeah, she does some weird stuff in that show. It's really funny. All right, second medium question.
Gotcha.
I feel like it's just a lot of names. That's why I struggled. I was like, I could do 9 questions, but it's just gonna be like, what's the name of the beer, right? What's the name of the brand of dog food Cliff feeds his dog? And bonus points if you could tell me the flavors.
Oh, buddy,
because there's 3 that I saw.
Oh well, I mean, I only wrote down 2 of them, but I'll tell you what I know when I get to it. I do love this, like the scene of him coming home and like pulling in, and then going into his trailer, which is like behind a movie theater, and then just the like, I don't know, kind of just filth he lives in, but it's like not completely filthy. It's weird. It's like a tidy mess that he just lives in, but he probably barely spends any time there. I'll even zoom out from that a little bit further. I love the dichotomy of Cliff and Rick's lives. Like, obviously, Rick is the movie star and Cliff is the stuntman, but you see, like, that night, you see, Rick in his home doing whatever the hell he's doing, if he's like drinking. Yeah, he's making drinks while he's running lines with himself on a tape recorder that he owns.
Yes.
And using he's mixing what was it? I think it was it was something
a drink?
Yeah, it was
he's mixing whiskey
sours. That's what it was.
Yeah, whiskey sours. And then you got Cliff going back to his like shitty, awful trailer to make macaroni and cheese. And feed his dog.
Yep. Oh, and then you have Leo's character going out to his pool. And
that's true.
Floating in his pool while he's drinking out of this gigantic German stein he has put his drinks in.
Yeah. And then Brad Pitt's just watching TV.
And he's making mac and cheese on the stove, and then way he dumps the dog food I was like, that is the gross. Like, it's so untidy. I hate it. But that's just the dude, right? So he's feeding him a brand called Wolf's Tooth, I believe. And the flavors that he feeds at the beginning of the movie were rat and raccoon.
That's correct.
Yeah,
I don't know all of that. I paused it. I could see at least one other flavor. One just says bird flavor, but I think there's others there too, because the cans, I think the flavors are corresponding to different colors. I believe there's 4 different colors, but I can't see the name of the 4th flavor, whatever it is.
I thought maybe you pulled it from like the end of the movie where he's making getting dog food out.
Yeah, he does do it
again.
End. Yes.
Yeah. But he's struggling to get the dog food out without actually having his electric can opener at home or whatever he had.
I don't think I'm going to butcher the slogan, but it's something like this. Like the slogan is like Wolf's Tooth, good food for mean dogs, or something like that. And that comes back, obviously.
No, I mean that dog is. I love a very well trained dog.
Oh,
very well trained dog is like, that's incredible. Like a dog has the capability to learn, and then you have some dogs that just can't sit down. They don't know. They don't know how to do anything, and their owners suck because of it.
Like me and my dog.
Well.
Anyway,
he said it, not me.
Right.
I've never had a problem with your dog, actually.
Let's go to the hard questions.
Do it. Make me hard.
All right.
Give me hard. I mean, hold on. Ask me the.
I'm a little nervous because
give me the hard ones.
I feel like you got one of them. I'll ask this one first. What is the name of the Rick Dalton double feature that Marvin Schwartz watches?
Oh,
he watches 2 movies.
Oh, I got it.
I think he watches one with his wife, one without.
He does. He does watch one with his wife because she loves Westerns.
I light up and pour myself a glass of, the way he says, cognac.
Cognac.
I
actually wrote down
Incredible.
that he did that. Like he lit up a cigar and had a cognac and watched the 13th Fist of McCluskey. Like I said earlier, I figured I can say that one. Everybody's already heard me say it.
Yep.
But yeah, he talks about doing that movie marathon, and then the next day he continues to watch TV shows, and that's the one TV spot where he's singing, like he's on stage with three girls and he's singing.
Oh yeah,
and he's
it's like a hullabaloo commercial or something.
and he is
it's
not
so good.
He is not singing well. That's the best. It's like he's singing exactly the way I would expect a star of westerns to sing.
I know how you're gonna react when I say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway, and it's not. Don't take it how I'm gonna like. Don't take it how you. I know you're going to.
Can't wait.
I love the three women in the commercial.
Of course you did.
They're so like bubbly and just so like over the top bubbly with him, and it's a funny commercial.
Okay,
It's great. What's the other move?
Tanner.
Okay, so I feel bad, but I'm gonna put my flag down and say this is incorrect because you have said twice the 13 fists of McCluskey.
Oh,
it
is
is in fact the 14 fists of
Oh,
McCluskey.
it's the 14th.
I'm sorry. I feel like if I said that, you would say I'm wrong though. I was like, it's the wrong number.
I would.
But that's incredibly petty.
I would.
But yeah, it's Tanner is the first one. You are correct. Yeah. In the 14 Fists of McCluskey, that's the one where he
13 fist does sound weird though. If you think about it, 13 fist. There's one person with one hand or one arm.
I don't know. But that's the one where he flame throws the Nazis at the war table.
I trained with that thing for 2 weeks.
Oh my God, it's such a yes.
3 hours a day.
Cuts to him with the flamethrower.
Yep.
He shoots it and he's like, wow, too hot. And he looks at the guy, he's like, is there anything we can do about this? He's like, no.
Rick, it's a flamethrower.
It's so good.
Oh yeah, that is good. I do like that. That's God, it's one of those things too. It's like that point of the movie is like them setting it up so oh yeah, he actually knows how to use that. And then later on they show Cliff getting tools out of the shed, and there it is sitting on the floor.
Oh,
of the
I
shed.
didn't even notice that, but okay.
Yeah, it's right in the doorway.
Yeah.
It's at the floor. You don't even like. It's not like subsequent viewings you would notice it, but like
that's awesome.
But you don't notice that it's there until he's goes to the shed later in the movie and uses it.
And when he needs that sucker. Oh God.
Yeah,
that was so great.
I actually torched one of the little fuckers in my pool.
We got to talk. Dude, we got to talk about the movie, but I can't wait to talk about that.
Let's hurry up because ask me your last question.
All right, so we see the TV in Rick's house a few times. Okay,
Yeah.
and there's a very large poster behind the TV. That has like a movie or a show. I guess it's unclear whether it's a movie. I assume it is though. What is the name of the movie on the poster behind Rick Dalton's TV? You see it several times.
No, I don't know. I'm just gonna say Bounty Law because it is
not a show
that's the TV show
I believe he's in.
Oh.
But it's unclear to me why it's up there. That's kind of why I asked it.
Oh.
It says Jigsaw Jane.
Oh.
Jigsaw Jane on the TV.
I'm assuming so you know how
Google it now.
He did say that he torched his career, or he essentially shut down Bounty Law because he wanted a rinky-dink film career. So maybe that was the only film that he did.
I'm searching to see if there's
Jigsaw
anything on it.
Jane. No, I mean 4 for 6 isn't bad.
Oh, in Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Jigsaw Jane refers to a fictional movie character that Rick Dalton plays, depicted as a black leather gloved psycho killer in a poster within the film. Oh,
I wondered if that was
slasher.
is probably his movie that he wanted to do.
Yeah.
That's because, and then I bet you when people saw a movie in which he was playing a killer, they stopped liking him as a hero or something like that. Like you can't, like it's kind of like you're tainting your image, right? That's why Pacino's character at the beginning is like, hey, they see him knocking out Rick Dalton, their stock goes up, your stock goes down.
I liked that conversation.
I mean, it was an honest conversation.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of like I'm an idiot, but it reminded me of like that's probably how real conversations in Hollywood go, right? Like when you're talking with an actor, somebody like an agent, like, hey, do you want to take this role? It's like, well, if I take this role, it's going to look like I'm getting beat on by somebody else, you know?
Well, I mean,
it's kind of cool.
I don't know if you ever watched the show Entourage, but they have a conversation about that in the show. There's like a weird scene in one of the movies. The director, they meet with the director. He says, "Yeah, I would love you for the movie or whatever." And they're like, "Yeah, we don't want to do this one scene though that's in it." And he's like, "Nah, can't take it out. It's a pivotal part for a pivotal piece." It's like I just don't know how it fits in, and it's like it's this scene where he his character would be on the subway and ends up giving oral sex to another man, and he at this point is like big star and like famous for like women love him and think he's great. Like he's like a big like idol almost.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And they're like. And they're like,
I'm not giving that up.
He's like, listen, I really want to do this movie, but we can't do it. He's like, listen, he's like, eventually he gets to the point where he's like, fine, fine, we'll do the movie with the scene in it. I really want to be part of this movie. I think it'll be great. And I guess if that's what has to happen, that's what has to happen. I'll roll the dice. And the director says, he's like, you know what? That's great. I want you to feel comfortable in the scene, so I'll actually be the guy that you're performing. And they like look at him and he's like, I'm just messing with you, man. I'm gonna cut that scene. This was just to see if you were actually serious about wanting to do the movie. This scene does just a landmine that I put in there to see if anybody would like actually put up with it. Yeah. So yeah, it's like a moment of that, like where there's like, I'm sure that they have those conversations because that was what that whole episode was about, was them having conversations about like, we can't taint the image of our star, like his stock will go down. So it's the way it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, I guess I talked a bunch about stuff that I liked while you were asking me questions. What did you have in there that you want to talk about? What did you find interesting? What you want to hit on?
I really should begin at the beginning, but I'm just not going to do that. And I want to say before I read some of my notes that R.I.P. to Sharon Tate, and this is not meant directly at Sharon Tate, just to be very clear. But I just wanted to read these things to you. So at one point, I would
also like to add a disclaimer that only one half of the podcast is responsible for what Brenden is about to say. I have no idea what he wrote down. In his notes.
I wrote the following. I have a problem with the amount of dancing Sharon Tate's doing in this movie. Next sentence. I have a problem with the fact that Sharon Tate thinks she should see the movie she's in for free. And 3, I have a problem with the fact that Sharon Tate thinks it's okay to put her dirty ass feet on a movie scene. I then follow that up with Margaret Qualley is a problem in all caps in this movie. And then the next line, and I'll stop. Never mind. Dirty feet and hairy armpits. That's what I wrote.
Dude, when that whole scene with her in the car with Cliff is like,
oh, it's good, but it's weird.
It's so, yeah, it's weird for sure. It's like, I don't know like what the culture was with like the hippies that were running around there. I'm sure it was like a lot of I'm sure they probably weren't too far off of the way they were acting and things that were like, free love and all that stuff that was going on. But him asking her for an ID, it's like, do you have some sort of ID that says you're 18? And she's like, she's like, wow, bummer, dude.
Yeah.
Real bummer. And
yeah.
He's like, when he says, I'm not the kind of, she's like, I didn't think you were the kind of guy that asked for that. He's like, I'm not the kind of guy that goes to jail for poontang.
Yeah, I'm too old to go to jail for poontang.
It's great. Yeah. There's actually one of the things I really wanted to, I want to think about like implementing. I wanted to do like a scene. I almost want to pick a piece of dialogue from the movie and have like you deliver it, or you pick one and I deliver it. Because there are like the part in the movie, I really wanted to, like, I feel like it'd be great to do the scene in which they're doing the Lancer pilot.
I think I know what you're going to say.
And it's where he spits his drink out and he says, he's like, I'm not going to hurt her. Tell her to come down here. Line? What's the line? Sorry. he has that whole back and forth. It's like, tell her I give her a fat $5 gold piece. She come down here and play her little chili pepper heart out. When he has that freak out moment, oh, so good. That's actually like Leo wanted to do. Like he that wasn't written into the script, I don't think, initially. I think that they shot the Lancer pilot as if he comes in and nails it, does what he needs to do, and gets out. And Leo said that there needs to be a moment in which he's struggling to get it. And that's what they did. They shot it normal, and then they shot it with him struggling, and that's the one they ultimately picked to do, because it was great to watch him like having a hard time with it, and then like he has that breakdown moment where he's beating himself up in the trailer, saying he's like you went home and got drunk, you idiot, and you don't even look like you know your lines, even though you practiced them. He's like freaking out on himself.
It's like you had to have 8 whiskey sours. You could have just stopped at 3 or 4.
Yeah, it's just going nuts. I love it. It's so good too. Like, and it's him asking him to roll back, and they're like, "No, we can't. We keep going. Keep like." He's like, "I can't. Can I just like I can't." I can imagine what it would be like to like be trying to like everybody else is doing their job and you are messing up and everybody's watching you mess up, and like he's struggling to get it and he wants to get it perfect but he can't, and it's that him like thinking back to his book, right? He's thinking about like the bonker buster that is like struggling every day. He's getting a little worse, but he doesn't want to be worse. He wants to try to be what he was, but yeah, he's just having a hard time doing it. And that scene is so great. Just the way he says, "I ain't gonna hurt her." Tell her to come down here, and I got a fat $5 gold piece for her to pay her little chili pepper heart out. Just the way he says it. It's so
What
good.
I thought you were gonna say was later when he has the standoff with the Boston Lancer guy.
Yeah.
And the guy comes in the saloon and he says somehow he gets it on like the price, how much it's gonna cost him.
Uh-huh.
And he says $50,000 would buy me a lot of chicken bole in Mexico. What?
I really love that scene where he's like, you know, kidnapping is a hanging. He's like, so shooting a little girl in the hand. It's like they can't hang me twice. So it's like, man, that's such a like that is like the most heavy dude when he's like in his FBI role too. Like when they're watching FBI on the TV, the way they're talking, like doing commentary over it, is exactly what I would imagine. Like two buddies talking about like while they're watching the show and just building each other up. Like cause he's like he's like that like classic meme of him. Like he's like I'm coming up on TV, and then he's like Rick Dalton. He's like he says something like all's quiet or something was the name of the episode or something like that. Like, not when Rick Dalton has a shotgun. It's so good.
Yeah, that I love that. I mean, again, I feel like I'm kicking to the end of the movie, but I love. Oh my god, it's so good. I thought for sure Leo was going to get blown away when the Mansons are in the car.
Oh, yeah.
And he is drunk off his ass, and he comes out there with a pitcher full of margarita, and he's just drinking. Like what I'll use the term, what a big schlong move to come out there carrying a pitcher of margarita, and he's drinking out of the pitcher, and he's like, get lost, and he's just continuing to heckle them, and they have a gun. Like he could have got smoked at any point.
Again, I just think that
it's incredible.
They're sissies, like, right? They're like doofuses and kind of just don't know what to do. And him just like big dogging them real quick, like just like I loved. Oh God, what did he? Get your mechanical butthole off of the road. That cracked me up. It was so funny. I forgot that he had said that. But yeah, like that, the moments, like all of that, like that almost seems out of place too, the end of the movie. Cause like everything is like, there was some like violence, but like it just like pops off and is like ultra violent really quick.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, let's do it. Let's get into it. So I was thinking when Cliff walks his dog, I thought he was going to encounter the group when he was walking the dog. So I was glad that didn't happen. But I didn't know obviously I didn't know how the movie was going to end. So when they come into the house, I was just kind of like, oh shit. So they're going to end up killing Cliff. And Cliff, you know, I mean, I guess Cliff, you know, was kind of asking for it when he went in there to see the Spawn guy at the Spawn Ranch and whatever. But when see, like, I'm just going to use the term attack. Yeah. The attack on the Manson people is chef's kiss incredible. Yeah. I had no idea when it started happening. I just started laughing so hard. It was so good.
Dude, oh my God. That scene where he's tripping And that's also not how that works. Acid doesn't, like, you can't get acid in your system from smoking a cigarette. Just you could do it like a tablet or something like that, but like smoking it on a cigarette's not gonna make you high. But anyway, not that I have any knowledge of that at all. That's from what I've read. So the where he's like, Tex is like pointing a gun at him, and he starts laughing and pointing at it. He's like, "Are you real?" And he's like, "I'm as real as a donut." He's like,
I'm as real as an effing donut. I was like, what does that even mean?
Such a wild thing to say. But then the whole, like, as soon as it pops off. Whatever he says, like, he's like, "Oh, I know all of you. I remember your red hair
and your white face."
and you had some sort of dumb name. Or no,
you were on a horse.
You were on a horsey. And he's like, "I know. What was your name?" He's like, "I'm the devil." He's like, "No, there's something dumber than that." That is the best. That's like the whole, like, the dog snapping at him, the girl running, and then him just like
the
hucking that can of
the
like,
can.
Oh my god!
My favorite moment of the movie is the can. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my gosh, dude, it is so good. And then he proceeds to beat the ever living shit out of that one girl. Like, that's how I know that Cliff killed his wife. Like, the way that he beats on that girl, there's no way he would hold back against anybody. Also, I was wondering too. This is kind of like fan theory kind of stuff like that. But like, it's almost like they talk about him being a war hero. Brad Pitt played in the Inglourious Bastards.
Oh yeah.
So like, it's almost, it's not, no, it's definitely not the same character, but like it's just like there's like bits of that in this. I feel like that they just like kind of bring back, but just the Nazi stuff with the flamethrower that, like, I thought for sure. I was so worried for that dog. I hate it when, like, it was like the dog dog is like helping and protecting them, and then at the very end
he does punching the dog at one point.
Oh, he's punching the dog.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised that Cliff didn't do anything when he was punching the dog. Like, he already knocked the one girl out, and like he's hitting the dog. I'm surprised he didn't do something there. But like, she picks up the gun, and he like tells the dog to go after her, and then she can't get a shot off on the dog, and then she ends up firing the gun into the air. So good. Like, all of it was like great. And then the dog getting into the bedroom with Francesca at the end of the movie, where it's like scraping at the door. She opens the door, lets it in, and looks around, and then shuts the door again. That's her first day in America. Just so you know, this is her first day, and she already says her house too. She's like, "Get out of my house," to these people.
Who's that? What I like also, I think like Tex or one of them was like, "Who's that?" And then like Cliff's like, "That's Francesca."
That's Francesca.
Yeah, that's Francesca. Oh man. But I gotta say just one more time, the idea that someone would be, I don't even know, 20 feet away and huck a full can of, I mean, that's more dense. Okay, so like a can of Campbell's soup is liquid. Yeah. That's solid in there, and hit somebody square in the face. Oh my god!
I'm surprised she wasn't knocked out, to be honest with you.
I just can't. I can't stop thinking. When that was happening, my mouth was agape. I was like, "Holy shit, this is amazing!" But I like that. Like, obviously, once I finished the movie, like, I spent some time reading, and it was just like, I think the intent there was to try to minimize like the intelligence of the Manson people, right? It was like, these guys are dumbasses.
That's what they were.
Yeah,
they were. I mean, I don't think there's anything intelligent about those guys. They were just for lack of a better term, I feel like they were bottom feeders, and they were leeching on people and following a psychopath. And you know, eventually it caught up to them, and they just did dumb stuff to the point where they did the ultimate dumb thing, and you know, it took people's lives that, you know, didn't deserve it, and that's terrible. But I think that the revisionist history of the movie is kind of interesting, because it's you know, you're expecting this thing to happen the whole movie.
Yeah, I was,
and then it doesn't. And what happens is so much better than what you wanted, what you thought was going to happen. Like, it was so good. Like, it was...
Yeah, I was getting really nervous. I was just like, I like Margot Robbie as an actress and as a person. But I admit, this movie, I was just kind of annoyed because I'm like, every scene she's in, it's just her dancing or
She
her
was dancing
expecting
a
to get
lot.
stuff for free. And I'm like, they're going to kill her and this is going to be so bad and I'm not going to like it at all. And then when they didn't, I was like, oh, thank God.
So I thought it was interesting. One last thing I'll say. When they're coming back, so we get like some big juxtaposition of like the people's lives, right? We see Cliff's life in comparison to Rick's life, and then you see Rick's life in comparison to Margot Robbie's character's life, right? She's like top of the game right now, and he's gonna fade away, and Cliff is just kind of like he's a driver. So what we see is when she, like you brought up the dancing, reminded me when they're on their flight from, it's a Pan Am flight, same Pan Am flight that Rick is taking back, like from Europe at the end of the movie. She's in the top of the plane dancing. He's in first class still, and then we have Cliff in coach.
Yeah.
And then we get like off the plane. Cliff is pushing the bags. There, Francesca and Dalton are walking, and there's no paparazzi. But when Tate is there earlier in the movie, it's filled with paparazzi.
Oh,
all
right.
over the
Yeah.
place.
People taking pictures of her and Polanski.
But nobody seemingly cares that Rick is back, even though he was in 4 films while he was in Italy. They were still Italian. Movies that
I
weren't
kind
as
of took
popular.
it like, well, the thing that felt was weird. Maybe it went over my head. I shouldn't admit this on the show, but like I thought it was weird. So I mean, I would argue. I mean, I guess it's just a TV pilot, but I will say the scene, the 50,000 can buy me a lot of chicken mole in Mexico. Like that scene, like when that scene cuts, Trudy comes over to him. She's like, "That's the best acting I've ever seen," and it was really good. It was really incredible. I was surprised that we went from that, and I think you could see him like kind of finding it, like, "Oh yeah, I still got this.
Yeah.
I can still do this." I thought it was weird that he went from there to Italy.
He decided to go to
yeah.
Italy,
Why
yeah.
couldn't he have just taken on a little bit larger roles in Hollywood again? I don't know. But anyway, that was great. I feel like we can't move forward with this episode.
Or you mean wrap this episode
We
up?
can't do it yet. We have to talk about Bruce Lee.
That was a great scene.
We can't let that go.
And they bring him back multiple times in the movie too, which I thought was interesting. That that they have him like training Sharon, and they have him training like Sharon's ex-Jay. Like
Yeah.
weirdly enough. But yeah, the scene where they're on the set of the Green Hornet
It's so good.
is great. I love I love the line. My fists are registered weapons, and if I were to kill you in a fight, I would be arrested. He's like, anybody kills anybody in a fight, they'd be arrested. It's called manslaughter. It's like, it's just very blunt, and it's just like, that's like, you're full of shit. I don't know why I was restraining myself. I've said shit twice in this episode, but like he's just calling him out in front of everybody in that moment. And
he's like, you're a liar.
It's great. Yeah, you're a liar. Like if you think that you could take on Cassius Clay seriously, you're ridiculous. And I think it's his like thought of like he's a fighter for a living, and you're a pretend fighter for a living.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I did like how, then Bruce Lee's like, oh, well then let's fight. And so then, Cliff is like best of 3, 2 out of 3. And so the first time Cliff lets him throw him down to the ground. And then, then he comes at him again and he chucks him into the car, which ends up being that is it Harvey? No, what's that guy's name? What's Kurt Russell's name?
I'm not sure.
Randy.
Randy.
It's Randy's wife's car. Eventually, you find.
You know my wife? Yeah.
She doesn't stay away from her.
Stay away from her.
Chucks Bruce Lee into her car.
So he just threw Bruce into the car. He's beating up Bruce. He's like, hold on. Like, Bruce is immediately like, no,
like
no,
you said,
hold on.
beating the shit out of Bruce. No one was beating the shit out of me.
That was so good. I did like that scene a lot. That's why. That's like probably. I understand like if China views him as like a national treasure, they don't want anything like disparaging about him. But like, grow up. There's disparaging things about everybody everywhere. Like that's really what it comes down to. And I do like the fact that Quentin didn't stand down. He's like, no, it's a movie. This is what the movie is. If you don't like it, don't show it don't show it there. So it probably did cut into their cut into their box office a little bit if it wasn't able to launch there.
Yeah, but I mean, again, though, like we said, that scene is, I think, too important to the movie to let go. I mean, you learn a little bit more about Cliff there. That
you
I
learn
think is,
two massive things about Cliff there.
Yeah,
that he's blackballed himself, and the fact that he killed his wife. Like, that's like two things that come up in that. Like, there's a flashback within that flashback.
I'm gonna choose to believe that he didn't kill her. I mean,
the only way
they kind of make it seem like he does.
The only way he didn't was if that crossbow or that gun went off on its own. Like, I feel like there's no other or maybe they said that he did it. We don't know if that's the moment in which that she died. I don't.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so I don't know. But yeah, honestly, like I said, he's capable of ultra violence and whatnot. I just don't. I think that they're doing that to try to set you in the listen, this isn't a great guy. So don't feel too bad for him. He's got a pretty decent life for his, as kind of, what he's done. Especially when they bring up, he's a war hero. Is he? What did he do? Like, we don't know. It's just vague, right? So maybe he wasn't. Maybe it's kind of just like what he said. We only know what we see in this one. But yeah, I liked it a lot. I think it's a great film. I think everybody should check it out.
I had two quick notes. One, I loved in the 14 Fists of McCluskey when Rick pops out from behind the curtain. Anybody order fried sauerkraut? And then he proceeds to flamethrow
all of them,
yep. Which is great. Also, I guess on the flamethrow, when he does flamethrow the leftover Mansoner in the pool, oh my god, it's incredible. Just because I thought it was incredible because it's how long he flamethrrows her. All
I could think was just go under the water.
Well, yeah, if you're her, but she's like her face is oh god, I'm gonna say I don't even care. Her face is dented in, which I've probably said in this podcast. I don't care. I'm gonna say it again, or maybe if I haven't, okay, you ready? So my kids would fall and stuff when I was a kid. Did I say this on the pod before?
I don't think so.
So if my kids would fall and bump their head, my wife, who's a nurse, would be like they'd have a knot, on their head, and she would always be like, "They're fine," and I would too. Like, I wouldn't think that anything was wrong, but she would always look at me like dead serious, and she'd be like, "They're fine. As long as it comes out, it's fine. If it dents in, it's not fine." And I'm like, I don't need anyone to tell me if it dents in, it's not fine. I think anyone would know that. So I'm pretty sure her face is dented in from the can, because that's Can Girl, right?
Yes,
it's
Can Girl.
Yeah, so
the girl with the white face.
So yeah, when she's getting flamethrower, I mean, I don't think I think she's in pain and shock and everything. Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay.
All right, so that was that. One more thing, real quick. Right before they're gonna go up to kill Tate and whoever's there, or all the people that are there, When Rick Dalton comes out and ostracizes them, and they back up and go down the driveway. I thought it was really funny and very Tarantino-y that they have a conversation about Rick.
Yeah, that it was like, oh my god,
that was Rick Dalton.
That was Rick Dalton. Yeah.
And they seem very happy, and the text guy's like, I used to have a what's the name of the
Lunchbox.
show? Lunchbox.
A Bounty Law.
Bounty Law Lunchbox when I was a kid. Yep. And they're so relatable to him, and they're like, yeah, let's go kill them or something. And I was just like, what?
Yeah.
But the little conversation they have is great.
No, yeah, they have that little conversation. It's like all the shows that we have on TV are about killing now. I looked at my wife and I was like, Brady Bunch, Leave It to Beaver,
Laverne and Shirley.
There's so many different shows I'm sure that were going on at that time that weren't about killing. So
yeah,
but anyway,
I don't know what ones. I don't think they were watching those at the ranch though.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude, that the whole ranch thing again. Quentin Tarantino is a huge foot freak, and he's got feet all over this movie. That had to be heaven for him to shoot that scene. That was what was going on.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you brought this up before we wrap.
Dakota Fanning, no shoes on. You have Sydney Sweeney with no shoes on. You have everybody that was a hippie in this movie.
Yeah, Quali and Margot Robbie's feet are the most featured, right? Because Quali has them on the dash, Tate has them on top of the movie seat.
Yeah.
Very dirty and gross. I'm sorry.
No, they're dirty. You're walking around barefoot in the city.
But I even want to just acknowledge a second. There are many shots in the movie where they're not not wearing shoes, but they're a feet. Have you noticed that too?
Mm-hmm.
Like it could be men too,
Yeah.
men and women, just their feet as they're walking. I should have took like a little clicker, and every time it happened, I bet you it's 15 or more. I don't know how many. I don't like in another movie. I bet you that number's like 1. Like it's so over the top. It's like so obvious. He likes the piggies, and by piggies I mean feet. Okay.
Oink oink. All right. What are the ratings? You recommend it still? I recommend it.
Of course I do.
Recommend. Give it a watch. I don't think you're going to be missing out, or we think you will be missing out if you don't watch it, because it's definitely worth the 2 hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's that long.
No,
it's good. So I just put this on here just really honestly to piss you off, because it pissed me off. Okay, Rotten Tomatoes 86% on this movie. Inside Man was 86%.
Yeah, it's definitely low in comparison
That's
to Inside
BS.
Man. Yeah, this movie was definitely better than Inside.
100%.
Yeah.
The audience rating on this movie is 70%. Inside Man is 85%, which is bull.
Not enough people are like. I wonder like what how many people rated that in comparison. You know what I mean? Like,
True. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
But again, too, like I feel like there's so many people who look back at Inside Man and say that's great. I actually had somebody come to or tell me like they listened to Saving Silverman episode. And they were like, "I love Saving Silverman. It's a great movie." It's like, when's the last time you watched that movie? It's like 5 years ago. It's like, wow, how did you watch it then and think it was that good now? Because I feel like at the time I liked it a lot more. So if you ask me to rate it again now, that's a hard thing to do.
I think I would go as far to say that I bet if we were to watch like American Pie, Not Another Teen Movie, a lot of those movies that were, real slapstick, all hysterical when we were kids, I bet you we'd be like, I don't know. No.
Probably not as much.
We're not in the same demographic anymore.
Not with not unless like I don't know. I have a gigantic life change or something, and become like a big stoner and like just like watch movies and giggle at them all day. Like I feel like you'd have to be on some sort of a mind altering drug or something to make like get you in the mindset to be laughing at goofy stuff like that.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I want art now. I want like good movies now.
Well, guess what? Your next movie you should like then. I don't think I wouldn't call it art, but it's definitely a thinker, and it's more like I feel like there's a lot to catch in it.
It's thinker stinker.
It's more like I feel like I've watched it twice now. I feel like it's a good rewatching movie. Like you catch way more stuff the second time through. But we can talk about that. Did you give IMDb?
I didn't. IMDb, and I just want to say, sorry again, to annoy you. 7.6 out of 10, which is the same as what is Inside Man. This movie is exponentially better than Inside Man. What is wrong with you people? But again, I guess I should realize, like, we shouldn't care about what other people think about.
No,
movies.
that's why I specifically said on this podcast I didn't want to rate the movies. I don't.
Yeah.
I want to say whether or not we should, like we say suggest people we recommend people check them out or not.
Yeah, you need to watch this. This is really good.
Because it's we can say yeah it's good, or we can say honestly Hubie not a good movie, should be scoring very low, but I still recommend people watch it because it's fun. Right?
I'm looking forward to the Hubie Halloween redo.
When we do it every Halloween going forward.
I'm fine with it.
So that all being said, we appreciate you for getting this far into the podcast.
We do.
And we're gonna try to, like I said, we're gonna try to do more goofy games and stuff like that. I have some ideas for some other stuff. I kind of want to think about it for like a whose line is it anyway kind of style thing, where you might end up with different games every episode, so you won't see this one next time or something along those lines. So we'll have different things that we do. But again, thanks for listening. If you can, like, subscribe, click the bell, all that fun stuff. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcast. We're on YouTube as the recommended podcast. We're on Instagram as the recommended podcast. We're still on TikTok.
We're on TikTok, yeah.
As the recommended podcast. And we are on Facebook as the recommended. I don't know. Did I miss any there?
I think you got them all.
X. We're on X as well as the recommended podcast. Facebook is the recommended, and go check us out on all those things. We appreciate you. If you can jump and do a better chain of movies from Ocean's 11. Try to make the longest one you can. try to hit at least 6 instead of doing like we did and going as short as possible. Hit 6 exactly, 6 degrees of the movie. That'd be more impressive to me because this one immediately jumps to it. But we'll do better on that next time.
Yeah.
So the next movie that we are going to be watching will be I'm Thinking About Ending Things.
Ooh.
It's a Netflix movie, and it was very good. I really liked it when I watched it, and it's been a while since, or probably since it came out.
2020, I believe.
Yeah, so I think I watched that. Or sorry, I'm Thinking of Ending Things, not about. I'm Thinking of Ending Things. That's what it is. But yeah, you can watch it on Netflix. It's still there. It came out in 2020, and I watched it. I watched it when it came out and really liked it. And it's been 4 years since I watched it, but I had the itch. I really did to go back and watch it because I liked it so much. So I think that you'll appreciate it because you've been into kind of those like mystery movies recently, and I feel like this will kind of scratch that itch.
Lots of Jesse's in it, right? Jesse Plemons, Jesse Buckley, right? I believe so.
We're looking at Jesse Plemons, Jesse Buckley.
I think those are the only 2, but
I don't know. Did you haven't looked at anything on this movie, right?
I just know the people, the cast. Like
Okay.
I know who they are. Yeah.
Don't look at anything
I know
else in
that.
this because
I
it
know
is
that.
it's way better to come in surprised.
Right.
And we'll catch you guys all next time, and we'll see you then. Watch the movie. Don't have any snack recommendations yet because Brenden hasn't watched it yet. So
Nope.
All right, take her easy, guys. Bye.
$50,000 would buy me a lot of chicken bole in Mexico.